giants are hard to follow. And Mr. Kessler is a giant in our movement. It is an absolute honor to speak here today with a room full of freedom fighters that believe in a sovereign, independent Alberta, because that's what we deserve as Albertans. I see you turned the timer off. Okay, all right, well, I've only got, I don't quite have as many papers as Mr. Kessler, so we're probably in luck here.
Well, just use my phone, I left it up there.
Okay. You know, it's interesting, we held the meeting this afternoon, and I noticed we only had a couple WEF keyboard warriors bother to show up. I wasn't sure if they'd be able to wake up on time, so we had it in the afternoon on a Saturday. You know, when we started this journey, this project, we realized that it would take every single group, every single organization, from education to grassroots to the political side. And the reference to Braveheart, one of the things that I take away from that film, a great movie, is how difficult it is sometimes as conservatives to unite the clans. But when we do that, boy, are we ever successful. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take every single conservative to unite behind the mission of Alberta independence. We looked at a poll recently from Leger, and would you believe it, there's actually 2% of NDP voters, apparently, that are in favor of Alberta independence. 2%. We can't spend a whole lot of time trying to get the rest, I don't think. But if conservatives come out to vote in favor of a referendum, it will succeed. It absolutely will succeed. I'm grateful to Mr. Wagner, who spoke earlier. I've read his book several times. They've been a great source of inspiration as to why Alberta needs to leave. The fear of staying in this broken, abusive confederation is far greater than the risk of leaving. It's far greater. Staying within Canada is absolutely terrifying when you start to look at the direction that the Carney Liberal government wants to take us. Now, I've heard in the last couple days from various government politicians that have said they're hopeful. They're looking forward to seeing what Mr. Carney does, what he has in store for Alberta. I can tell you I'm not looking forward to anything that Mr. Carney has in store for Alberta. Justin Trudeau wrote the book. Justin Trudeau read the book on how to be a socialist. Mark Carney's the one who wrote it. And if you've got hope for what Mr. Carney has in store for Alberta, I wish you the best of luck. We have a unique moment in time, as Professor Pardee said. The tide is coming in. And it's our opportunity as Albertans to decide whether we're going to get on the boat or not. And I am encouraged by the number of Albertans who are increasingly saying enough is enough. That we've had enough. We've tried. Since 1965, Alberta has been a net contributor to equalization. We know that. We had a referendum a few short years ago on it. Albertans overwhelmingly voted in favor of getting rid of equalization. What did our conservative politicians do? Absolutely nothing. The risk of referendums turning into recommendations is there. And it's only through the action of the grassroots of Alberta, standing up and forcing the political will, can we make sure that this next referendum doesn't become simply another recommendation. Another attempt to say, well, maybe Ottawa will treat us nicely this time.
No.
Because it's not going to happen. I'm grateful to the wisdom and the experience that individuals like Mr. Kessler, former Reform MP Art Hanger, and others have provided to this movement and continue to provide. And when they answer my phone calls and text messages, it's overwhelming, the support and the encouragement and the advice they have. But let me make one thing very clear. This movement is not about one individual. It is not about me. It is not about any singular group. It is about all of Alberta getting involved, signing petitions, getting involved at the grassroots level, running for office, and engaging with your neighbors and your friends and your family, because it's going to take one conversation at a time. No singular group and no singular leader or politician is going to fix the mess that we're in. That's up to all of you.
Yep.
I grew up just west of Edmonton in a small town called Spruce Grove. I'm a dual citizen. My dad's here today, pastor of a church. My mother was a teacher. My parents homeschooled me. So if you believe in freedom of choice in education, I've lived it. After high school, I went to work in Alberta's oil patch. I'm a lot more comfortable in a pair of coveralls than a suit jacket, but this is what they said I had to wear today. Working in the minus 40 in Tabor to the plus 40 heat waves in Drumheller taught me the value of hard work, discipline, getting up, rolling up your sleeves, and getting the job done right the first time. Later in life, I served in the U.S. Marine Corps with 2 other Alberta boys because we weren't that thrilled with the alternative of the Canadian military at the time, which was focused on tampons in the men's room. Now, I'm probably the only guy that's running for elected office right now that can tell you with clear certainty that there are only 2 genders. There are only 2 genders. Men cannot get pregnant, and they don't belong in the change room in women's sports. I was mentioned earlier that I've been involved in the early Wild Rose days. I've tried to get a lot of conservative, value-oriented politicians elected because that's where I felt I could serve best. And not every one of them was a good pick, I can tell you that. After the floor crossing, I stuck around with the Wild Rose Party. I managed the 2015 campaign because I thought Albertans then, as I do now, deserved an alternative to PC corruption, arrogance, and entitlement. And we find ourselves in a similar growing day-by-day situation today. And it's going to take the same courage that it took in 2008 to stand up to the establishment that it's going to take today in 2025. Because they've made their objective clear. When it comes to the independence movement, they want to silence you. They want to decrease the number of Albertans in favor of Alberta independence. And they want to make sure that a yes vote never happens. The Alberta Republicans are here to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yes.
And that we get to a yes vote. We're going to take away the wiggle room, the opportunity for our current government to sit on the fence. We're taking away the ability for the UCP to have their cake and eat it too. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. Support Alberta independence, not looking after your own political ambitions in 2027. Supporting Alberta independence must be the key objective for every single Conservative. And I'd like to point out today, Mr. Ron Robertson from the Alberta Independence Party. Ron, thank you. We've begun to unite the various political groups. We've united the political groups to make sure that we are united in our mission and our focus on the political side, to make sure that the UCP understands. Get on the boat with Alberta independence. Get on the boat. Don't obstruct. Don't stand in the way. And don't fight us tooth and nail, because we are going to succeed. We are going to get this together with groups like the APP educating people and working on a petition. That's fantastic. With groups on the political side and the grassroots groups that are forming all across this province. It is going to take every single horse attached to that cart of Alberta independence to make it succeed. Every single group. One of my regrets in my political involvement is believing that we had to merge the Wild Rose and the PC Party. That was the first one. The second one was believing that someone who drove around in a blue pickup truck who couldn't figure out how to fill the damn thing was the guy to help us out. That was my second mistake. And you might have read a couple negative articles about me online. You might have. And when I became involved with the project to unite the two parties, I was asked to do some things that I shouldn't have done. And in order to look myself in the mirror, I owned up to that. And the reason you're able to read those articles is because I didn't make a very good doormat. And I spoke truth to power. And when you stand up to people like Jason Kenney, boy, they come after you. They don't like it too much. But that experience allowed me to look myself in the mirror and say, when you make a mistake, you own it and you learn from it. And you know how to spot the snakes in the grass when they pop up again. And I'll tell you what, during COVID, I wasn't here in Alberta. I was serving either overseas or stationed in Camp Pendleton, California. And during COVID, a very good friend of mine on a 3-mile run, we had been given the order to take the COVID shot. And on a 3-mile run, a very good friend of mine dropped dead right in front of me. And I resolved, whether that was your choice or not, for me, in that moment, I resolved to fight that tooth and nail. Yes. And we were being forced. We were being forced as military members to do something that was unlawful, it was illegal, it was untested and untried, and they wanted to make us guinea pigs, and I said, absolutely not. Yes, sir. We started a lawsuit with 13 other officers, and about a year later, we were successful in making sure that 3,500 service members with religious exemptions were not removed for their religious convictions of taking a shot that they did not believe was good for them or their bodies. So So sometimes those lessons in life, they prepare you to stand up, regardless of the risk. And we find ourselves in a moment today where it takes people of courage, each and every one of you, to stand up. Because you don't know who you are inspiring to do the same. And if you can stand up and inspire your friends and your neighbors to say, I'm going to fight for an independent Alberta Republic, you watch what that does. This movement is going to snowball. And it is scaring the hell out of the East already. And we've not even started. Just hold your horses. I've only got 2 pages and I'm going to get through them. I get asked about why the party color is red, and I'll tell you, I'm tired of giving the Liberals another thing, and we're taking their color back from them. That's why. It's never been more clear that an independent Alberta is the answer. Because what's been tried already? Strongly worded letters, more lawsuits, as Mr. Kessler pointed out. They got the Supreme Court stacked. Why do we keep wasting money, good after bad, on lawsuit after lawsuit? It's not going to go anywhere. More panels. There's a new one coming out I just heard about last week. It's called the Alberta Next. It's supposed to start in a month or so. We don't need Alberta Next. We believe in Alberta first, and that's it. More studies. More studies. They want to study us to death. All they need to know is that we're fed up, we've had enough, and we want out. I get this question often, and I'm gonna address it here today. And it's a very real concern that is often misunderstood. And that's the question of, well, why do we need another conservative alternative party, and aren't we afraid of vote splitting? In 2015, as the Wild Rose campaign manager, we looked at every single seat that we could target and win. And we did so strategically because we had limited resources and limited volunteers. In the 2015 election that saw Rachel Notley become premier, there were only 2 seats that were won by the NDP as a direct result of vote splitting. Only 2. The biggest factor in the NDP winning the 2015 election was because Conservatives stayed home. And the reason they stayed home is because Conservatives lose when we stop being conservative. Division comes from when we say one thing and stop being it. When we say we're fiscally conservative and then we try and sell you on why we have to have a $5 billion deficit and why it's okay to see growing bureaucracy and government bloat. Conservative division comes from running as a conservative and acting like a liberal. And the Republican Party of Alberta is unapologetically conservative. We believe in property rights, and that means firearms rights. Yeah. That means parents are the primary educators for their children, not the government. And we better not see another government in this province try and put fences around our churches. Yes. It's a shame that there are those who made those decisions that have not only been protected, but elevated to the highest positions in our government. It's a shame. Luckily, a number of those ridings are ones I think that are going to vote Republican in the next election. We have an opportunity here in the upcoming by-elections in Edmonton, Ellerslie, Strathcona, and in Olds, Disbury, Three Hills. We can send a strong message to Ottawa and to Edmonton that we've had enough. This is a time for choosing. Will we let Ottawa know that we're not having a referendum just to have a negotiation?
No.
This isn't about what kind of handout we can get from Ottawa, a few more breadcrumbs to appease us for another decade. That is not what this is about. We are serious about Alberta independence. We are serious about it. We have an opportunity to build something that's bold, to take that risk, and to forge a future for all Albertans. For too long, First Nations haven't had a seat at the table. This is an opportunity to have a seat at the table and forge a bold and bright future for all Albertans. I am encouraged every single day by the number of young people that come up to me at events and say, I don't know why we're still in Canada, because it didn't work for my parents. My grandparents thinks it works for them, but it really doesn't. And it's never going to work for me. Wife's having to work 2 jobs. I had to pick up an evening shift. Hope of buying a home has disappeared because Mark Carney wants you to own nothing and be happy. And this is a movement now that it's not just my grandparents' generation. And there's a lot of hope in that. That this is a movement that spans across generational divides, because all Albertans have been under the boot heel of Ottawa for far too long. And they've seen the impact. And they understand now more than ever that something has to change. And so we are that movement together, all Albertans. However you want to involve yourself, whether that's on the educational side, grassroots organizations, or on the political side. In fact, I would say you should do all three. You should do all three. Get involved. Be that voice, be that leader. Fight for your communities, fight for your families, and together we will write Alberta's next chapter. We will make Alberta truly strong and free. Thank you.